Hey, what's up? This is the third video in the making of Zenafone series, and we're going to start talking about using the actual web audio API. So, the first thing we're going to do is make an audio context. You might be tempted to make a constant, but the audio context actually has to be started with a gesture or an event to avoid people just, or websites just blaring music on you. So what we're going to do, we're going to start the ATX, and then let's just make it easy. Let's just start it off, make it easy. Let's just say document.onClick equals ATX equals new audio context. And we can test that out by saying ATX what? Now after I click, and I heard a little click, I know it's made it. Now we have an audio context. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a big old class. So we're going to make the music class. We're going to use our fancy syntactic sugar version. It's a little easier than making the prototypes. Constructor function. And the parameters we're going to pass it is, we're going to start off oscillator and volume. So the way we do this is this.os equals os, this.volume equals volume. Pretty standard stuff. Now we're going to do on off. I like to spell it like a weirdo. Just because, honestly, it's because I'm afraid that on and off are going to be a part of the language, so I don't want it to get confused, so that's why I spell it crazy. It's just irrational fear, possibly. I don't want to use words like start, stop, so this os equals atx.create oscillator. Okay. This .os. So we're gonna make an oscillator just in its simplest form. This .os equals ATX, our audio context dot create oscillator. This .os dot. Then you just do connect ATX dot destination. Everything in the API has to go to this connect things and eventually end up to the destination, which is the speakers. So then with an os.start, this is gonna os.start, and this is gonna play. So let's just go ahead and get it playing just so I can show you what it's all about. So after we make our class, so we have our class, we have to instantiate some objects. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make some variables to pass in to our object. This will make sense in a second. Let's just make some random variables. So now these will come in handy when we're making objects. So making objects. Alright. So now we can just say let's my sound equals new os. So we click and that starts the audio context. And now when we double click, this should make that sound. You get what I'm saying? So we have our interface, our section. Under that, let's make some controls. The infamous init button stands for initialize. So now instead of document.onClick, we can say, let's say document.getElement by ID init.onClick. So now instead of the document, we're doing document and we're grabbing the init. A lot of people would just say declare const init equals document.getElement.id init, but I'm only using it once, so I'm not going to waste time declaring it and then using it again, because I'm never going to reference that button again. So I just write it once like this. Right? Let's see, let's make sure this works. Lump, bump, bump. Perfect. All future generations of people, descendants of a person. So now what I want is I want to hook up the interface to these sounds. We're going to add an event listener. Document that add event listener. It's going to be key down is the first past the first parameter is the kind of event listener is key down. And now the second parameter that we're passing is going to be a function. To make this look a little, you know what, fuck it. I'm passing a function in here instead of the parameters like in parentheses for this arrow function, like that. Oh, that's so crazy. To do it like that, when you pass a word, when you pass a word or something, you don't have to do it. You can just eschew the parentheses, and I'm just gonna pass the event object like that. So that's my super sweet syntax. For my key down event, for the key down event listener, I use a big old switch statement, and the thing we're gonna be evaluating is e.keycode. If you want to take a look, at what actually E is. This is the event object. See, keycode 68. The syntax for this is the case. This is, when I made this, you probably thought I was a case key codes to the 0.num. Break. And then let's just okay, and then let's log out key codes to the 0.symb so you can see just what key that is. And it's 1. What do you know? So when I press 1, let's see what's going on here. On key down, okay, the switch statement saying when we key down the e.keycode, the first case, if it's 0, which is if it's the key codes to the first element .num. Okay, key codes to the first element in this object .num. It's that key code. These are all the key codes that correspond. And you see, and it's gonna just increment every single time. It's all matched up, and it's brilliantly executed design. Okay, and this is going to sound on. Now would be a good time to show you how this is gonna look now. So yeah, fun. So these objects that we're instantiating, I lied to you a little bit. This is going to be actually an array of notes. You know what, now's the time. I really wish that I was using Emacs instead of Vim, and I could use macros to write this out. I know I could do it in Vim too, I just don't know how. I'm not that good at getting fancy with Vim. Maybe I should read the book, Getting Fancy with Vim. But that's pretty fancy. I can copy and paste. Magic. Oh, no. Okay, fun. Now I get to show you how this actually works. So now we go to our key codes. The first one, number 1, the key code, our first note. So notes, I can reference this array like this, these objects in the array. Notes to the 0 dot on. That's how it goes. That's the brilliance of Zenafone right there. That is the what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Is it nitty gritty? That's the logistically. I think logistically is the closest word to what I'm trying to say. This is logistically how the keyboard works, how it calls, how it functions, how it determines, how it operates. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? God, it's beautiful. Oh, you just copy and pasted it? Hell yeah, I did. Hell yeah, bitch. Now that we did key down, guess what this is gonna be? Key up. It's pretty easy. Key up, and all we do off. We actually don't have an off. We haven't made off yet. So let's just comment that out. This is gonna be annoying because they're not gonna turn off. Okay, let's make off. I don't know why it's pulling the wool over your eyes so you can handle it. This dot os dot stop. That's it. Yep, that's it. Okay. See, you don't have the wool over your eyes any longer.